Hey guys, thanks for coming today. This is the first Get Smart Group webinar with Blue Wind Marketing. Some of you might recognize Scott and myself from the Get Smart Group, and we're joined here today by Lewis Goldstein from Blue Wind Marketing. Lewis, why don't you give us a little introduction of what you do and how we know each other in the industry?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Lewis. I'm a fractional chief marketing officer who works with businesses in the home service space. Connected with Scott at the Pool Industry Expo in Monterey last year, and we saw a great opportunity to collaborate to discuss how to use data to make better decisions.
Awesome. And we are always looking for brilliant new minds to bounce ideas off of and collaborate with because sometimes because we're so close to what we do for our customers and the way we do it, that we might miss things that are happening or miss looking at it from a different perspective. So that's why we wanted to come together today and share some different perspectives on what's going on specifically with metrics reporting in the industry, and especially given the concerns recently with the tariffs happening. Some of them are already in place, and we've seen some manufacturers raise their prices to adjust for that. And some of them are pending and may or may not happen, and they may be at different percentages. And from a leadership perspective of a CEO trying to guide an organization down the path of where they are going to be successful and potentially be held accountable by shareholders, we're trying to help provide metrics and data to our companies, small or large, along the way, which is what we've always done to help them make their marketing making decisions. And we're seeing how more and more that's becoming critical for people to be able to look at the numbers and move quickly to adjust for different circumstances with different pricing models and different costs. So I'm curious, Lewis, what you've heard thus far from your customers on this topic, or just concerns about data and metrics in general that might be coming to the surface right now.
Yeah, great question, Ali. So one of the biggest challenges is knowing what decisions to make based upon the data. With more data than ever, a lot of CEOs are not confident about what they're making decisions on. Sometimes they believe there may be a false confidence. I'll give you an example. eBay many years ago was spending a lot of money on Google Ads, several $billion, and they didn't know the true impact of the actual advertising, so they brought in outside help, and they discovered that in fact that the money was actually wasted, that the people they were advertising to would have bought anyway. So what happened was it was a classic mistake of confusing correlation and causation. They thought they were ads cause sales, but in fact they were correlated. And so if a multi-billion dollar company like eBay, which has a market cap of 29 billion with top talent, can make a mistake like that, it begs the question of sometimes it's not what data are we overlooking, but where is there data where we may be misinterpreting it. And so I like to always make sure that we're looking at the data correctly and we're not looking at things from a causation standpoint when instead they're correlated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where having data scientists or data analysts who
Mm-hmm.
can actually decipher the data correctly is vital to making sure that we're not spending advertising money on areas that aren't the best use and instead could better allocate it.
So, for instance, in that situation, it could have been better to invest the money in SEO so they would get more organic search visitors to their website
Yes.
versus to traffic for ads. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
It's interesting.
Um,
We've actually seen that. We have a client in New York, and over I want to say a 5-year time frame, we just kept making consistent investments in their website for organic search purposes to increase their organic results, and they ended up pretty much top one, two, or three across all their product lines within about a 50 to 75-mile radius of their store, which is about as far as people will go to buy a pool or a hot tub. And one fall day, we were meeting, and they were spending probably 25,000 a month on paid ads, and in a profitable way, right? We can track, all the way down from cost per lead to cost per customer acquisition and all that and all the margins. But the question was, what if we just turn the ads off? Like, just stop. And what's going to happen? Will our traffic go away? Or because we're ranked so highly, will the people, to Lewis's point, who are going to buy from us anyway, still buy from us? And it was really interesting because, you know, in that time of year in New York, it's hot tubs, not pools, right? People aren't buying new pools in October in New York. They are buying hot tubs and other things. And we tried it for about a month. I think we did it for about 3 weeks. And yes, traffic went down. And yes, unit sales went down from what we were expecting and projecting. However, the total net profit to the business went up because, you know, if they were expecting to sell, let's say, 50 hot tubs and they only sold 40 instead, but they also didn't spend $25,000 to sell those 40 hot tubs, very
Mm,
different outcome. So, you know,
yeah.
really understanding the seasonality of ad spend and traffic and buyer demand is really important to this as well. But yeah, to again to Lewis's point about data scientists, I've never been called a data scientist before, but I think I have some skills that qualify me to think about myself that way. And really at the end of the day, I mean, and we're going to go into some more details on this in a few minutes, but that level of understanding what the data is actually telling you and how it is impacting your business and the bottom line is much more important to as
Mm,
opposed to how many phone calls did we get today.
yeah.
It's important, but it's not the whole picture.